Hello, welcome back to The Debate, where we're talking North London derby with Paul Merson and Tim Sherwood. Let's take a look at where both sides are going into this game, because as we talked about, there is this run of form, there is this kind of pattern throughout the season of Arsenal going unbeaten, of Spurs just coming into those good performances right on cue. But as far as the seasons have gone, there's not that much between Arsenal and Tottenham at this season in the Premier League. Do the numbers tell the whole story?
I wouldn't have said... Like I said earlier, there's been about 5 games Arsenal could have lost 5 of them games, and you wouldn't have... Watching the games, you wouldn't have come away from there and gone, well, they shouldn't have happened, they were unlucky. But they've dug in, and that's what you've got to keep on doing. When you're not playing well, you've got to make sure you keep on picking up points here and there. But I just find it hard at the moment with the defence. I said before, I said the other week, and I got really hammered for it when I thought the Liverpool game would be the game where they got found out, and I thought they would have got ripped to shreds. And they played well that game. They did play well, but then they play a week or 2 weeks later to Wolves, and Wolves could have ripped them to shreds. And you know, Bournemouth first half, Palace, they're just hanging on. And sometimes you're sitting there and you're thinking sooner or later it's going to happen, and you just hope it ain't Sunday.
16 goals conceded there for Arsenal, almost identical to what it was last season. So, just like what we're talking about, from the defensive side, I'm not seeing much has changed. I just think that they have more firepower now, and they have an identity of how they want to play. I think they're going in the right direction, I really do, but I just think they're on a long road to catching up some of the top teams.
So if the defence is the weakness for Arsenal, well, we'll take a look at the comparisons between the two sides defensively in just a moment. It's going to be a good day out for Harry Kane. Do you think he's going to enjoy himself?
No, I wouldn't say Harry Kane. I wouldn't, because if you have a look, when Arsenal play against...
He's on his side.
Yeah, but if you look at Arsenal, it's not like the centre-forwards are ripping every... You know, I worry about players running from deep and, you know, out wide on the flanks, coming inside. They'll call him the danger man, and they'll have him as the danger man, and they might look after him, but then they just don't see danger. So if they're with Harry Kane, you know, Dele Alli will be making runs. If Son plays, he'll make runs. As Sissoko, you know, he ain't scored since I was about 11. Do you know what I mean? And he'll probably get on the score sheet. It's one of them games. I just think defensively, I mean, I watch Arsenal sometimes, and I watched them against Wolves the other week, and there's 15 minutes gone, and you'd have thought it was the last minute of an extra time cup game. It was just so open, and players weren't where they should be, and you're thinking, there's only 10 minutes gone here, and people are not even in their positions. So that's what worries me. But, you know, it wouldn't hurt this week for Arsenal to play out of a shape, play deep, and invite Tottenham on. They don't have to go at Tottenham, in my opinion. They just got to keep it tight and leave it up to the front three.
Yeah, they've got to leave up to the front three. But for Tottenham, having looked at Harry Kane being one of the top goal scorers, certainly the top goal scorer in the players that are going to be playing at the weekend in a North London derby, for the player that you watch develop, what's he developed into, do you think? Well,
he's developed into a world-class striker, and someone who doesn't realise when he's at his ceiling. He still wants to go, he still wants to improve himself. Every day he'll be on that training field, and he'll be working on his finishing. He knows that he can't stand still, because there might be someone coming up behind and might take his place. He's done brilliantly, you know, he's accelerated his development fantastically well. It wasn't all plain sailing in the early days. We see that record there, 7 in 7 in North London derbies. When them fixtures come out, he's from North London. Straight away he's looking at that fixture and thinking, when are we playing Arsenal? When can I get at Arsenal again? It means so much to him, and the likes of Harry Winks. You know, I'm not sure Arsenal got any players from North London. When we used to play against each other, there was 3 or 4 on each side. You know, so it meant a lot to us. You know, now you see them kissing and cuddling in the tunnel before the game. Didn't have none of that. You know, we just
not in your day. God, none of that.
We tried to find an edge.
Punch each other.
Try to find an edge, you know, to try and disrupt what was a far superior Arsenal side in them days. And I
Do you think it's maybe because they're more evenly balanced that it isn't? I mean, obviously there's a sort of lessening of that aggression anyway. But when they're more evenly balanced, it's less about one side trying to rough the other one up.
Evenly balanced doesn't doesn't necessarily mean that is going to be the outcome of the game. I mean, there was times when we did win the game. I mean, more often than not, we didn't. But there was times when we actually turned over Arsenal, and I think it would be a major shock for me if Arsenal were to win this game, even though they're at home. And the bookies have got them as favourites to win this game. I can't see how they can be favourites. You know, when you look at the actual lineups on paper, how can Arsenal ever be favourites to win this game on form at the moment? I know they've improved, but at the moment they're quite a way off what Tottenham are. You know, even the result, which it was a good result, and they're picking up good results, as Merce quite rightly says, but hook or by crook, they're picking up results. They got outplayed at Bournemouth last week in the first period, and Bournemouth could have been out of sight. And if they played like that in the first half against Tottenham on Sunday, Tottenham will be out of sight and there will be no way back.
But Harry Kane, of course, with that fantastic record in the North London derby, all the plaudits have been flying his way, and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang has given his assessment.
It's a great player and a great striker. He scores goals a lot, and yeah, it's a great player. I have nothing to do with that, and I think we cannot compare because we are really different strikers. But yeah, as I said, I recognize that it's a great striker.
I don't know whether he's just a very relaxed character or if he's just not that impressed with Harry Kane, because it's not glowing praise from Aubameyang for his opposite number, is he?
Yeah, I think he's quite relaxed. He comes across as a confident and relaxed player. He's got to be careful. He plays for Arsenal and Harry Kane plays for Tottenham. You know, you can't, if you're playing for the club, you can't be talking highly about a player. You know, I think someone's probably told him, steady on. Yeah. Don't start saying how great.
How would you compare them then? Not necessarily in terms of quality, but in terms of their style, in terms of their differences?
Yeah, I think they're completely different players. I think Harry Kane brings more to much more to the table with bringing other players into the game, building this lad's electric pace and an unbelievable scoring record. I mean, what he did in Germany and even at Arsenal. So, yeah, and he can play out wide. Do you know what I mean? He can come inside. Harry's an out-and-out centre-forward, but Harry Kane brings more to the table than Aubameyang, but I do like Aubameyang, and he'll cause problems, hopefully, on Sunday.
I like Aubameyang. I think he's got real outstanding quality, which is unbelievable pace, ridiculous pace, and in front of goal, he turns out the numbers. You know, he's playing in a very competitive league there for Dortmund. But even I went and watched him play for the Gabon against Brazil when I was looking at Sandro, and we'd already signed him at Tottenham. And straight away after, he was playing right wing, and the pace that he showed down the side, and I thought, oh, we've found one here, you know. And I looked at it, and he was at AC Milan, so he was already at a big club in its own right. He was on loan at St Etienne. And I recommended to the club that we maybe try and nick him for a low price. So he could have easily been at Tottenham. We tracked him for a long period of time. And we had little discussions with him. But the manager at the time decided that he didn't want him, and it wasn't for them. So he could have easily been in a white shirt on Sunday.
But what do you think now? What if he was in the Tottenham squad? What would he be playing? How would he add to the team?
Be a major asset for them, wouldn't he? Major asset. You know, who knows? Maybe if he'd come to Tottenham, Harry Kane wouldn't have had the pathway to come through. You just never know. You know, it's all in hindsight. But certainly, if he was in Tottenham's squad now, it'd be a major asset. Huge
asset for them, but as you said, and we keep coming back to it, the defences are going to be sorely tested this weekend. And your worry is that with the way that the Arsenal's defence have been performing, particularly earlier in the season, maybe that's going to be a real issue for them. If you look at the difference, we saw earlier, Arsenal conceded 16 goals compared to Tottenham's 11. 75% save ratio for Arsenal, 82.26 for Tottenham. I don't know why that one hasn't been rounded up. But the difference with Arsenal and the approach that we're seeing from Emery is that the number of tackles, the number of blocks, they're equal and more than Tottenham, and pretty much equal and more than Tottenham in them. Is that a change in style?
Tells you that they're under the cosh more than Tottenham, really, if they're having more blocks, you know, and having to make more tackles. Yeah, the tackles are about the same. I was trying to put a positive spin on it, but no, you're right. If you're getting blocks up. I mean, Arsenal 16 goals. I mean, 16. I mean, there can't be anybody else in the top half that are letting 16 goals, is there? I mean, Man United are letting 6. 6 goals to 16. I mean, I played in a season and letting 18 goals in the whole season. I mean, 16 is... And I will give the manager a chance here, because he needs a couple of windows. He's got to bring in his own defenders. He knows. I hope he knows these are not good enough.
Yeah.
These defenders, and I think that's why he has the firepower up front, because deep down he's sort of going, I need to outscore teams.
Yeah.
We're not going to get in the top 4 winning 1-0 every week, and they're not, and that's proven with 16 goals already.
Doesn't he? He goes with a 3.
United, by the way. 21 they've conceded.
Oh, this.
Man United have.
Yeah, they're minus.
Oh, I must have been.
Man United are a -1 goal difference,
Where
which is
did I get
unheard
6
of.
from then?
I don't know.
With Emery, he keeps changing that formation.
Must have been 6 in March.
Might have been 6 in August.
Oh, that's a bad IE, that, isn't it?
That's all right. We can move on. You can put it behind you. On to the next shot. Go.
This stats gone.
They went 3 at the back, didn't
Yeah.
he, against Bournemouth at the weekend,
Yeah.
and they got opened up in the first period. It's interesting that Holding tonight has gone to Kiev and he's played. He's played for 90 minutes. So it's a good indication that they're going to go back to the back 4. You know, it's easier for the boys to understand it, gives them more protection. They're going to need Torreira, we talked about. Xhaka, has he got that discipline to stay in there? Mercy's right, they've got to set up differently. They are, with that pace they've got up front, Lacazette and Aubameyang, they are tailor-made for a counter-attacking side, and they need to find a way to play that way, and I think they need to start on Sunday.
What formation did you go for on your combined 11?
Well, I didn't worry about Arsenal too much. I went for a 4.
Well, hang on. You've gone for a 4-3-3.
Yeah.
You've gone for
I went for
We'll go for the home side first. So go on.
diamond and then 2 up front.
Representing the home side. Go on.
Yeah, I mean, I ain't got my glass on. I went
Lloris?
and then Trippier.
Vertonghen and Alderweireld.
And Davis. I went
Yep.
the whole back 4, as I say. I don't
and
think
Dyer.
Arsenal's. And then Dyer holding.
And Ali and Eriksen.
Eriksen. And then I put Ozil in. If Ozil turns up on his day, he walks into all the teams, in my opinion. So, but you just got to hope that you push his bed against the wall on one side, and he has to get out the right side of the bed, and then we got a chance. And then up front, I've gone Kane and Aubameyang. I mean, I've tried to get two Arsenal players in. I can't make a case at the back. I can't make a case. And I think, you go with Dyer. Dyer gives them protection. I think Tottenham have got probably not far from being the best pairing in the world of football, the centre-halves, in my opinion. I think they're that good.
How hard did you try to get Arsenal players into your 11?
I tried to look everywhere. I just couldn't find any room for them, unfortunately. And I'm not being biased towards this. I think
You sure?
Mercy's absolutely right. Ozil on his day gets into any side.
Arsenal win, this is going to be everywhere.
But Ozil doesn't have enough days. He doesn't have enough days. Now, even the hardened Arsenal fans cannot argue with putting listen, hand on heart, I wanted to try and find room for one of them. Maybe Aubameyang was knocking on the door, but the way they're playing at the moment, this is fit players, by the way, Kelly.
Yeah.
I would have changed it. Maybe Davis would have come out and Danny Rose would have gone in there.
So it was Spurs for Spurs?
No, and I think Dyer has to play there, gives them that protection. It also gives them that leeway to play free at the back, because he drops in deep when Davis and Trippier push on. And then Winks...
Couldn't you have played Ali instead of Winks and got an Arsenal player up front?
No. I couldn't do it, Merce. I know you're trying to persuade me, but I just think... I honestly believe, hand on heart, that is the best fit available team. I would be happy with that side going into this North London derby. I will be very, very surprised if... it would be a shock if Arsenal beat Tottenham on Sunday.
We'll get predictions in just a second. We've had some tweets in as well with some questions for you guys. Tom Thorpe says, how far do you think Mauricio Pochettino can take Tottenham, given that you've gone for all Tottenham players? Ask you.
How far in his career at Tottenham?
Geographically, I don't
No,
know.
in his career. Listen, he needs to keep older players, doesn't he? I mean, if he keeps hold of them like he's done in the last window, if they manage to get them foot soldiers out there looking, scouting around, finding these Deli Allis, if you like, picking up, and he can develop them, and he's given the time, which he undoubtedly will, because he's got so much credit in the bank there at Tottenham. He can go all the way. For me, listen, it's hard to win the title because Man City are so good, and they've got the best manager in the world, and they're able to go out there and get the £100 million player who's ready-made. So it's always going to be difficult to catch them up. Now, Tottenham shouldn't be ahead of, my opinion, shouldn't be ahead of Man United at the moment, but they are, and that's credit to the group of players and the top manager.
What do you think? Can they Win a trophy, win the title? What can they do? Challenge for the
I don't
title?
think they can win I don't think they can win the title over 38 games. I always say, if they get their best 11 players on the pitch on any given day, they'll give anybody a football match. Anybody a football match. You know, they've got some top players. I worry for them. I see at Arsenal over the years with a new stadium, they had to sell top draw players, only for one reason, to balance the books. I don't see how Tottenham don't have to do that next season. You know, I look at Real Madrid, they're not going to win the league this year. If they don't win the Champions League, something's going to happen there. They'll have to go big next year, and they will go big. You know, it's been proven over the years. They'll go and buy a couple of stars. And where would you look? You go to Tottenham. You would go to Tottenham because they've got some of the best players about. But I just think they're a bit behind Man City. In my opinion.
John says, recent form of Sissoko, as you mentioned earlier, Lamella, Foyt, Moura and Winks, all proving squad depth not so much of an issue at Spurs. The lack of transfers justified now? Are they just a bit lucky, particularly if there is going to be pressure on the players
Not
to
lucky
maybe
at
move
all.
away?
It's just the vision of the manager. He knew Moura would have benefited from last season. Winks was coming back from injury, and he's fully fit now. They've managed to cope with injuries this year. Eriksen's been out for a period. Moussa Dembele's an outstanding player. Vertonghen's been out, and they've coped. You know, Foyt has come in. He's had a year of experience in the Premier League, or having a look from the outside, and he's been outstanding in the last few games as well. No, they're going on the right track, and I believe they were correct not to just go out and buy someone for the sake of buying it. It's not about how much money you spend; it's about who you buy.
Yeah, that was the problem with Tottenham. If I'm the manager and I go, right, I want to go and buy, say, a player at Seville, a top star, for 50 million, 60 million pounds, he's a centre forward. I go and meet him, I want you to come and sign for Tottenham. Where are you playing? You're not playing. You'll be in the squad, but you ain't playing in front of Harry Kane. And at the back, the centre halves, they've got their centre halves, they've got their full backs, they've got their goalie. It was hard. You can't just go out and buy an 80 million pound player to sit on the bench because they're not going to get in the team.
Dan makes a point that you were making earlier, Paul, that Arsenal can attack. Their qualities in that area are good, but not one defender's looked solid so far. So do you think Arsenal's defence can keep the Tottenham attack at bay?
No chance. No. I don't, you know, Tim will be shocked if Tottenham didn't win this game. I'd be shocked if Arsenal kept a clean sheet. And that's why I think he'll play Aubameyang, Lacazette, and he'll go, you know, I'm not going to win this game 1-0. Do you know what I mean? Or I'm not going to draw it 0-0. I will need to score goals. And that's where I think he's good. He done it against Liverpool. He weighed it up, thought, we ain't keeping a clean sheet against Liverpool. I've got to have a go. And I'd be shocked if Arsenal kept Tottenham to 0.
So go on then, what's going to happen?
I'm hoping 1-1. 1-1. I'm hoping 1-1. If this was an horse race, and them two horses run last weekend and you watch both of them, they probably wouldn't even be out of race against each other in this race because one was a Group 1 winner and one was running at Kempton on a Tuesday night, in my opinion.
Yeah, on form, you'd have to say, and I keep declaring they have improved and they're going in the right direction, Arsenal, but Tottenham will win the game. I think if they play anything like they do, and Arsenal will need everything to go their way. Referees' decisions, you never know in the North London derby. They're the best players last year, Tottenham, and they didn't win the game. So that can happen again. It's not always about the best players, it's about the best team on the day. Arsenal need everything to go their way. Tottenham, in my opinion, will win 3-1.
And if Arsenal do keep improving...
I've been wrong millions of times, by the way. You know, that ain't a surprise.
I've seen most of them. Avid watcher of the debate, though. If Arsenal do continue to improve, then maybe the more interesting question is who's going to finish higher up the table then?
Well, they can improve, but like we keep saying about Emery, he's going to need winders. You know, they can't. What can you go and find in January? It's very unlikely you can go and find someone who's going to make a difference to your side.
They exist, but they're the exception rather than the
it's going to take time. It's going to take time, as it has taken Tottenham the time to compete with Arsenal and now go ahead of them.
Do you think?
I think Arsenal are way off them at the moment. I think they need 4 defenders. They need 4 defenders. That's a lot of defenders. And then you've got to get them to gel together. You're probably going to get them from abroad, so then they've got to get used to playing in the Premiership, the Premier League, which is the hardest league in a million miles. So it's going to take time. But as long as they keep on scoring goals, they can drag it along. You know what I mean? It's when the goals dry up and then they're going to lose football matches.